What are my top limited edition whiskeys from 2024? I'm Jeff. This is G Whiskey. Stick around. Okay, limited edition whiskeys. This is an annual award that I give out to whiskeys that come and go. So even if these are part of a series of releases that come out annually, oftentimes the brands will kind of tinker with the recipe, so you'll never get quite the same bottle again. And because of that, these always feel like particularly relevant videos to put out because the clock is ticking on these releases. And if you're a cynic, you could say that's exactly what the brands want and it's all just a ploy. And yeah, maybe. However, to their credit, some brands do use these spaces to be a little bit more experimental, more innovative, to try new things, and that does yield some really interesting results, which is what we're looking at today. Now, for some of these bottles, depending on you, your market, where you live, you may or may not be able to find all of them, but I do try and choose relatively recent releases, so they're not going to be ancient bottles, they're not going to be distant memories from 10 years ago, they're all going to be from the last, let's say, 2 years. And funny enough, I didn't realize it when I was putting this list together. Everything here is from 2023 and not 2024. Unfortunately, we often get things a little bit late here in Taiwan if we get them at all, so bear with me. It is what it is. Now, for the record, everything on this list is going to be a single malt scotch, so there's no like Irish, Japanese bourbons. None of that's on here. And as usual, I do have a mystery pour in my glass here. The mystery pour is actually my number one choice, so it'll be my whiskey of the year, my limited edition whiskey of the year. Your hint for today is that this is a peated whiskey with a yellow label that I reviewed relatively recently and absolutely loved. In fact, I scored it a 90, so absolutely beautiful stuff. Stick around to the end of the list. I'll share with you what that is, and let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our list. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right, coming in at the back of this list, at number 5, we've got Glenmorangie, A Tale of Tokyo. Now, I haven't had all of the A Tale of releases. I missed the Forest one, although I didn't hear good things, and I've yet to try the Tale of Ice Cream. But I have had all the others, and the Tale of Tokyo is easily my favorite. This one has spent some time in Mizunara casks, and it's just really solid stuff. Now, it's not mind-blowing, but it's got the classic floral Glenmorangie character with a really nice cask influence. It's a gentle influence, it's not overdone, but it does add a lot of interesting elements. We get these sort of like floral, spicy, herbal, almost foresty elements in this whiskey. So I just really like what the wood's doing here. That's what she said. We also have a nice ABV of 46%, which adds some intensity. That is a high ABV for Glenmorangie. This is just a really pleasant, easy whiskey to enjoy. Again, it's not mind-blowing, but for $70, I think it's well worth it, which is why it's number 5, Glenmorangie, A Tale of Tokyo. Next up at number 4, we have Ardbeg Bizarrebq. Now, this is one of my favorite special releases from Ardbeg in recent years, although take that with a grain of salt because honestly, I ignore most of them. But of the few that I've had, this one is a favorite. This one gives us a nice 50.9% ABV, and our casks are oak, PX sherry casks, and experimental barbecue casks, which are either meant to give it a barbecue flavor or to make it pair well if you happen to be eating barbecue. I forget what the gimmick is, but it definitely does have this sort of like sweet savory thing going on, so it works. The price on this one is a little bit difficult because it jumps around between markets. The cheapest you'll usually find it for is in the United States, where you can get it for as low as $80 to $90 if you're lucky. A lot of other markets have it for substantially more. It's more here. I think I paid about $120 for my bottle, which I do think is too much. So if you're in the States, grab it if the price is fair. Otherwise, maybe skip it, but it is an excellent whiskey. It's classic Ardbeg and sherry. I don't know what the experimental barbecue casks did, but Ardbeg and sherry, that's all you need to know. Excellent stuff, good execution, comes in at number 4, Ardbeg Bizarrebq. Next up at number 3, we have the Lagavulin 11-year-old Caribbean rum finish. This is the Nick Offerman edition, and this one comes in at $75 in my market, and it's a bottle that I wasn't sure I was going to like. I thought it was a little bit risky, but it turns out it's good and it works. Now, the reason I was skeptical is those rum casks. Now, this was first matured in bourbon and sherry casks, fine, but the rum cask finish, I was like, I don't know, that could go either way. I wasn't sure that the rum would cooperate with the Lagavulin spirit. But thanks to some honestly masterful blending, this worked out beautifully. At 46%, this is smoky and rich from the distillate, but it's also fruity and vibrant thanks to those rum casks. Now, this is a very unconventional Lagavulin, and I imagine it will be quite divisive, but if you're a fan of the brand and you keep an open mind, this is a very interesting and unique experience that I do recommend. I think they pulled it off beautifully. So it comes in at number 3, Nick Offerman Lagavulin 11 Caribbean rum cask finish. That's a mouthful, but it's good. At number 2, I've got a release from the 2023 Campbelltown Malts Festival. This one is the Glen Scotia 11 lightly peated white port cask finish. And like a lot of the previous ones here, this is a peated whiskey that uses an unconventional cask. It's similarly priced too. This comes in at $75 in my market. So there are a few similarities to the Laga until you get to taste. This tastes absolutely nothing like the Lagavulin or any other whiskey for that matter. This is a truly unique and beautiful whiskey. As the name implies, this has been lightly peated and finished in white port casks. This one comes in at what? 57.4%, so definitely hefty. And we get some really interesting flavors in here. It's a very grapey whiskey, but we also get some maritime notes. There's a lot of umami flavors in here, and I love that. On one hand, it does have a distinctly Campbelltown character, but on the other, it doesn't taste like anything else from Campbelltown or anywhere else for that matter. It's just really special stuff. It's a unique experience and I highly recommend it. Comes in at number 2. Oh, what's the name? Lightly peated white port cask finish 11-year-old Glen Scotia. These fucking names, man. Okay, we've reached number 1 and guess what? We've got another peated whiskey with an unconventional cask in the mix. Again, I did not plan this out when I made this list. It just kind of worked out that way. This is another 2023 release. It's in a similar price range as a lot of the others. This sells for $80 in my market, although it has recently become tougher to find. So good luck hunting this one, but if you can find it, highly recommend it. What I'm drinking is Kilchoman Cognac Cask Matured. I'm a huge fan of this bottling. I think it's one of the best things that Kilchoman's put out. And I love the influence of cognac in whiskey. I love brandy. I love brandy cask influences. And this one just works. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the casks here are not too heavy, but they add a lot of very vibrant elements to the whiskey. This whiskey is peaty, it's coastal, it's rich, it's vibrant, it's intense, it's brimming with character. Now, if you're sensitive to youth in whiskey, if you don't like young whiskeys, or if you're looking for something that's refined and elegant, this isn't it. As I said, this is youthful, it's bold, and the flavor and the character are what really shine here for me. As I said, this is one of my favorite things that they've put out. It's a beautiful whiskey. It comes in at number 1. Kilchoman Cognac Cask Matured. All right, that was the list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I want to hear from you. So what were some of your favorite limited edition whiskeys from this year? And remember, limited edition, one-off whiskeys, not standard releases. What do you got? Also, what do you think of my picks? Do you approve? Have you tried any? Looking forward to reading the comments here. And yeah, just a really interesting lineup this year. A lot of peated stuff, a lot of unconventional casks. And again, all older releases, all from 2023, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, we had the Glenmorangie, the only unpeated exception on this list. That one had Mizunara casks in the mix. The Ardbeg had barbecue casks. The Nick Offerman Lagavulin 11 had Caribbean rum casks. We had white port for the Glen Scotia, and we've got cognac casks for our Kilchoman here. So interesting. There definitely seems to be a theme emerging here, and it seems that I respond to the use of experimental casks in whiskey. And of course, anytime you experiment with casks, that does carry some risks, but we clearly have some very skilled master blenders out there who are making it work. And yeah, all of these just really interesting whiskeys worth checking out. Again, for the, third time, I do want to apologize because all of these are 2023 releases. We're a little bit late to the party here in Taiwan. We don't get things as they come out, which is unfortunate, which means that next year for my 2025 list, I'll probably have a bunch of 2024 whiskeys for you. Oh well. Anyway, that brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to reading your comments down below. If you want to help out, I have both Patreon and PayPal linked down below. Anything and everything helps. If you're already helping, thank you very much, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.